Hello and welcome to another episode of Shots Fired. Today we're talking about Rouge One, a Star Wars story.
Pretty lame title.
Yeah, it's pretty shit subheading, isn't it? Yeah.
Rouge One would have sufficed.
George, what was Rouge One all about anyway?
Okay, so remember that opening paragraph in the Star Wars crawl, the original film? Well, there was a line in there that said something about the rebels stealing some plans for the Death Star. Well, that's pretty much what your film's about, really. So yeah, throughout this review we'll be referring to the original 1977 film as Star Wars. We refuse to refer to it as anything else. It's Star Wars. If we're referring to the franchise, we'll just say the franchise. We'll be trying to be as clear as we can. Anyway, thought I'd just clarify that.
We have a mission for you. A major weapons test is imminent. We need to know what it is and how to destroy it.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So, what did you think of Rouge One, mate?
Well, I enjoyed it. It reminded me of those sort of World War II films like Saving Private Ryan, The Eagle Has Landed, where this group of people, ragtag team, they're going on this mission and they know most of them probably aren't coming back in one piece. Rouge One is it's a war film in space, and sometimes there are no goodies and baddies. It's just people do what they have to do for their cause, and I like that.
Yeah, Rouge One brought the war.
What did you make of it anyway?
Star Wars. I thought it was good.
Did you not enjoy it?
It was.
Are you not entertained?
I was reasonably entertained. It was a series of action sequences, and the action sequences were really well done. But
the plot's basic.
The bits in between where you have the characters, the downtime, I thought that dragged quite a bit.
I'd agree somewhat. It's pretty much we've got to get to here, okay, and now we've got to get to here. That's pretty much the plot of the film, wasn't it? Really? But the payoff in the final act
was pretty fucking cool.
It was stormtroopers, we got rebel troopers, we got air to ground battle scenes, we've got AT-ATs, we've got air to air combat in space, we've got the big sort of spaceships in space, we've got Star Destroyers, flying into Star Destroyers, we've got everything. And then I'm not gonna spoil the final few scenes until later on, but there's so much more Easter eggs as well to geek out over.
The only thing that I thought was what wasn't. I'm not going to say this is bad because it was really well done, but something that was overhyped. Like people kept telling me, "Oh, the space battle was amazing. It was incredible." And technically, yes, it was very well done, but it was none of the main characters were involved in it. It was just all these random people. It was just it was just effects.
Red Leader and Gold.
It was incredibly impressive and exciting effects, but I just wasn't. I wasn't invested in the space battle as much as I was in the ground assault on the base.
Well, one thing I've got to say is as well, I think, which is like the biggest positive I take out of this film, is just how it blends so well Star Wars with this. Because it's really difficult, I imagine, to make a film, back in the 70s and then make a film now, 40 years on. Should we hit on some negatives, some criticisms?
Yes, I thought this film was way too fan-servicey for my liking. it felt like a fan film.
It's a good point, but I've got to say, I think half of it should have stayed, half of it should have gone, and the half of it that I would argue should have stayed is anything that is there to create a kind of continuity with the film. So, like I said, the guy who's recording the stuff, some of the iconography, that should have stayed.
And there was some stuff in there that you kind of need to tie into the next film, but sometimes the film would just stop. Like,
maybe Star Wars, maybe Tata, maybe Blue Milk, maybe R2-D2, maybe C-3PO.
You went full retard, man.
To anybody,
maybe a guy,
anybody who hasn't...
where he's like, I got death worries on 12 symptoms. You will be careful.
Yeah, we have to insert a clip of the memory version South Park, otherwise people have no fucking idea what you were talking about there.
Remember Chewbacca again? Oh, I love to remember Chewbacca. Hey, remember when there weren't so many Mexicans?
It's building up this momentum and then it just stops to have this fan service moment. It just felt completely unnecessary to me. And it also introduces this other problem, which is that the reason why they're making these spin-off films is that they want the Star Wars universe to be this massive, expansive universe. But when they keep referring to the same plot elements, the same characters over and over again...
It's characters that wind me up.
But it just shows that how in actuality, how limited it is.
Galaxy after all.
It is, it's not expansive, it's small, it's not that big.
Yeah. One shot for the half of references that should have gone. So
yeah, I'm gonna do one shot as well. Okay, so
I'm just spoke with that, are you? Jesus.
Bend over. So my next point is that because it's a very thin plot.
Yeah.
Because it's just a very simple premise, so there is a lot of filler stuff in there.
Yeah.
A lot of scenes that you might not necessarily need, and nothing highlights this better than the hentai tentacle porn scene.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, in this scene, for those who haven't seen it yet, there's a scene where Forrest Whitaker is interrogating this defected Imperial pilot. Because he can't trust him, which is fine, but they could have just, like, in Star Wars, they interrogate Han Solo, they interrogate Leia, they just do it off screen. Like, that's fine, you believe it's happening, you don't not believe it just because you haven't seen it. So they could have just done that, but instead, no, they use this weird sort of tentacle probe, don't they?
This tentacle monster.
It's not a necessary scene.
Yeah, so I would think one shot for that and every other unnecessary scene that takes place, but that is just
That's the biggest thing.
That's the big one. That's the big one, yeah.
So now we're going to warn you for minor Easter egg kind of spoilers that you might otherwise just want to experience yourself, but not plot relevant, really. Not plot dependent.
It's just something
minor
spoilers
for
the fans, and if you want to,
we're not going to pause the screen or anything.
Yeah.
Ready? Okay.
Obviously, there are going to be some returning characters from A New Hope, and not all of these characters, or not all of the actors who play these characters are alive.
It's a 4-year-old film, isn't
are
it?
alive, or
some of those
age appropriate to play the role.
Yeah.
So we get a fully rendered CG Peter Cushing playing Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah, which is impressive.
Yeah.
But
not quite there yet.
It's better than you'd expect a student to produce who's doing this as an amateur, but not for a Star Wars film.
You may fire when ready.
Sometimes it looks real. Sometimes it's not good enough though, is it? Because it can be.
It's the uncanny valley.
Very distracting.
For anyone who doesn't know what the uncanny valley is, just Google image uncanny valley. It pretty much explains itself when you look at the graph. But what was worse?
Yeah.
What was worse?
What was worse? This is a bit more of a spoiler, just so you know.
Yeah.
Right at the end of the film, of course, we're going to meet Princess Leia.
Of course, because she gets the plans, obviously.
The effect they used to de-age Leia in Rogue One, or render her, it looked like an effect from the 90s.
Yeah, it was bad.
Early 2000s.
It was bad. And
it was
and you know why it's so important? Again, I said this in another review. The last shot of a film is important because it's the last thing you remember before exiting the cinema. And it was a dodgy, like, sort of late noughties video game sort of rendering of Leia going, "We have a new hope."
How do you think it could have been rectified? How do you think it could have been?
Right, good question. That's what we're here to suggest, isn't it? We can't just slag it off. I would have said they did a really interesting thing with Peter Cushing when they introduced him. They had him in front of a glass, sort of like a window, and you get to see like some really artsy shot of like just his sort of reflection, and that was cool. And I thought, oh, they've got Peter Cushing, but they're not gonna show him. They're just gonna show bits of him, and that's gonna be really clever. And that was cool. And then you got like a little sort of profile, maybe a bit of a shadow, but no. And then they just show him. And I thought they could have stuck to stuff like that.
Okay, so one shot for questionable CGI characters.
That was bad. And finally, like I said, the ending was just really abrupt. I understand that they're trying to do it. They're trying to bookend Star Wars. I get that, but it was just so abrupt with such a really shit shot. I've got a drink for that as well, to be honest, mate.
Pisshead. Okay, so we've talked about most of it. This next bit is just going to be a complete fanboying in spoiler territory. So if you're just a casual fan, you want to know what we thought of the film, you can skip to the end now. But so this is going to be spoilers, full spoilers.
What will you do when they catch you? What will you do if they break you?
So
This was like straight out the comics. Darth Vader, when he sort of whips his lightsaber out, that was just brilliant. And he's just like, and he's like weapons in the air.
he's slaughtering people.
Yeah.
The way they did that, it was like a horror film.
Yeah. And I mean, was it a tonal shift, or do you think it was appropriate?
No, it felt
appropriate.
It was a bit weird.
The film was dark.
They had this really hopeful music going.
Yeah.
And during this really hopeful music, it was
and the
just
guy's like,
slaughtering people.
the door,
Save us, please.
save us. The door is sort of not opening like something out of Pearl Harbor. The door's slightly opened, and he gets the card. He gets the data through.
Take it.
Yeah, great. Like, for me, that was sort of harking back a little bit to like the 80s kind of sci-fi films where they didn't mind sort of people like just dying and like just like.
But this film,
and then where it sort of shows the blast door and then like the sabers cut through it, and it's just that's pretty badass.
I would have liked to have seen more than that, but what we got was really
tasty.
really
It was
awesome.
an hors d'oeuvre. It was an hors d'oeuvre of what we could maybe see in the future of Vader films.
But I think Rogue One might have had my favourite line of any film I've seen this year.
Oh, it was the the pilots when he's just like, gold leader coming in. I'm starting my attack round. He's like, red leader standing by, and it was like just the first film. That one, yeah. No. Oh, it was the Stormtroopers, wasn't it? Yeah, because he's like, the line where he's just like, hey, they're making the T-15 obsolete, and he's like, I heard that. Yeah, and it's just like the first Star Wars film. That was great. I like that. No, it wasn't. Oh, come on, that was great. It was great. Like that.
No, it wasn't that at all.
Stormtrooper banner. Come on, man.
No.
That to me made it like almost like a fan film, like like Hello Greedo on YouTube, like just kind of Stormtrooper banner.
Well, no, it wasn't that strong. No.
Okay, which one was it?
Fucking fanboy.
Which one was it?
It was in the scene. It was from Darth Vader, in fact, where he's choking Krennic, and he when like he's going, he's choking him, and then he releases him, and he just says, "Be careful not to choke on your aspirations, General."
Yeah, that was a bit too fair. Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Final verdicts for me. This film, if I had to sum it up in one word, it would be alright. I thought it was alright, but if I had to be more descriptive, I would say it's an alright film with great moments sprinkled out throughout, and with a great finale, but kind of dropped off at the end with that abrupt ending and weird CGI layer in the final shots. So that's what I thought.
My thoughts are, if you're not that big a fan of Star Wars, the film, don't bother watching this film.
Yeah.
There's no point. What I would say is, if you love that first Star Wars film, watch this, not as a prerequisite as you have to watch this film first. You have to watch Star Wars first, really. But watch this if you're planning to maybe watch Star Wars on a night in, and you have the extra time, extra 2 hours, watch this first as a sort of build up to Star Wars, because it works as a great kind of context builder. I'd say for that, with that in mind, I give the film a 2 out of 5 on the inebriometer. I think it does that job really well.
So I would give it a 2 out of 5, mainly because of that last act. Because as I said, if it wasn't for that last act, it would be a 3.
That is a well executed battle.
If it wasn't for that last third, it would be a 3 for me. But that elevates it quite a bit.
Absolutely.
We'll take the next chance. And the next. You're rebels, aren't you?
Save the rebellion! Save the dream!
So, in the next couple of weeks, we'll try and do our annual review where we'll sit down. We might be able to get some of our mates on and just have a few beers.
You know, talk about
chat about this year. Yeah. What do you reckon? Good year for film?
Well,